Hey guys, it's Jack from Magic Minds EDH, and today I'm bringing you a video about archetypes. I'm going to be talking about the best commanders for the most popular archetypes. So let's get right into it. So the archetypes we'll be talking about are artifacts, lands, aristocrats, wheels, enchantress, tokens, +1/+1 counters, -1/-1 counters, instants and sorceries, and self-mill. So, we're going to start off with artifacts. The best artifacts commander is Brea, Ethereum Shaper. So Brea, Ethereum Shaper is 4 colors, so it's white, blue, red, black. For a legendary artifact creature, human, it's a 4/4. When Brea Ethereum Shaper enters the battlefield, create a 2/1/1 blue Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying. Then you can pay 2, sacrifice 2 artifacts, choose 1. 3 damage to target player. Target creature gets -4/-4 until end of turn, and you gain 5 life. So the reason this card is the best artifact commander is because it's super versatile with four colors and the ability of either dealing 3 damage to target player or basically killing a creature with -4/-4, because most creatures are under that unless they're like big creatures that have a lot of power. And then also the plus of gaining 5 life is great in late game if you're down and you need to gain some life, which is great. So it's a very versatile and great artifacts card, plus the ability of creating 2 Thopters when it enters is great. And it doesn't say just like sacrificing Thopters or anything. It's just 2 artifacts. So you can do any artifact. So if you're running a serious artifact deck, this is great because you can do this at any time. So yeah, so that's why Brea Ethereum Shaper is the best artifact commander. So now let's move on to lands. The best lands commander is Lord Windgrace. So Lord Windgrace is 2 black, red, green for a legendary planeswalker. And it starts with 5 loyalty. And its +2 is discard a card, then draw a card. If a land card is discarded this way, draw an additional card. So it can be card draw in some cases with it because if you're running this deck, you're going to run lands, and obviously, and if you draw a land, you get to draw an extra card, which is great. And -3 is return up to 2 target land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield, which is really good, because if you're running a lands deck, you're going to have good land stuff, and if returning lands to your battlefield is great in all these kinds of decks. So that's a great addition. And then it's -11 is destroy up to 6 target non-land permanents. Then create 6 2/2 cat warrior creature tokens with Forest Walk. And Lord Windgrace can be your commander. So the reason he's a great lands commander is because of the -3 ability, and the +2 ability obviously is great too. But the -3 to return 2 land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield is very good in any lands commander deck, and he's so great as your commander. So now let's move on to aristocrats. So the best aristocrats commander is Teysa Karlov. So Teysa Karlov is 2 black-white for a 2/4 legendary creature human advisor. And if a creature dying causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Creature tokens you control have vigilance and lifelink. So this card is very, very good for aristocrats deck and is a very good commander for an aristocrats deck, because basically what it does is it's like doubling all of your die triggers, and you're going to be running a lot of tokens and creature tokens. They get vigilance and lifelink, and most aristocrats deck have tokens, and so all those tokens dying is going to trigger an additional time. So it's like double the power. So it's a insane ability in commander if you're running an aristocrats deck. So that is a very good commander and should be in your aristocrats deck if you're running black-white. Yeah. So, now we're moving on to wheels. So, the best wheels commander is Sorcerous, the Writhing Storm. So, Sorcerous is 2 green, blue, red for a 3/5 legendary creature snake Leviathan, and as flying, and whenever an opponent draws a card, except for the first one, they draw in each of their draw steps, create a 1/1 green snake creature token. When Sorcerous the Writhing Storm deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each draw that many cards. So, obviously you probably already know this is a great wheels commander, and it is somewhat similar to Nekusar the Mind Razor, which is just plain wheels, and you just want to wheel a bunch and get a ton of damage in with Nekusar. So Sorcerous is built a little different because Sorcerous is built off with the damage. They draw that many cards, however many damage he does, and then you're obviously going to be creating a lot of snakes with his first ability. So it can be kind of like attacks, like aggro, or you can kind of build it like Nekusar and do the damage. So it's a little more versatile than Nekusar, and it's a little easier to win with, because in Nekusar you're like always the target, and like as soon as you get Nekusar out, everybody's gonna try to kill it because like it's a big target and taking a lot of damage. So Sorcerous kind of like sits back and kind of just creates an army, and then he kind of goes at everyone and wins the game. So I think Sorcerous is a lot more versatile, and he's a little more easier to play with. So it's a lot easier to win with Sorcerous. So that's why he is the best wheels commander. So now we're moving on to Enchantress. So the best Enchantress commander, I think, is Tuvasa the Sunlit. So it's green, white, blue for a 1/1 legendary creature Merfolk Shaman. And Tuvasa the Sunlit gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control. And whenever you cast your first enchantment spell, each turn, draw a card. So it's great card draw if you're running a pure enchantment deck. And Tuvasa's going to get big. And so this is just a great enchantments commander. It's super great. And Tuvasa's going to get big. You can pump her with all the enchantments and draw cards. It's just a great deck for enchantments. It's just super versatile and can win you games easily. So yeah. Now we're moving on to tokens. So the best tokens commander is Risk the Redeemed. So Risk the Redeemed is 1 hybrid green or white, so 1 mana, and for say 1/1 legendary creature elf warrior. And you can pay 2 hybrid green-white, put a 1/1 green-white elf warrior creature token into play. And then you can pay 4 and 2 hybrid white-green. For each creature token you control, put a token into play that's a copy of that creature. So it is very good for tokens. And if you're having a 1-mana commander, it's going to be good, because you can get your commander out turn 1 in most cases, and that's great, because turn 1 commander is now you have a creature on the board, and you can start your engine going with tokens immediately. You don't need to wait to cast your commander that's like 7 or 8 mana. So it's like really easy to get Risk out, because obviously there's 1 mana. And then with the ability of copying each of your creatures, it's just gonna triple and double and triple, and it's gonna get huge fast, and it's just really good and very, very good deck. So yeah, that's why Risk is a great tokens commander, and so make sure to run that in all of your token decks. So yeah, so we have 4 more archetypes, and they are +1/+1 counters, -1/-1 counters, instants and sorceries, and self-mill. So first, let's start off with +1/+1 counters. So the best +1/+1 counters commander is Atraxa, Praetor's Voice. So it's green, white, blue, black. So 4 mana for 4 mana, 4 colors for a 4/4 legendary creature, Angel Horror. And it has flying, vigilance, death touch, and lifelink. And at the beginning of your end step, proliferate. So this is a very good +1/+1 counters deck, because at the beginning of your end step, so you're going to guarantee it every turn that you're going to put another +1/+1 counter on each creature that you have, or another counter if they already have. And so you're just going to start stacking up fast on how much +1/+1 counters you get, and you can really win the game fast with this deck. And Atraxa is, although the price is a very good card and should be run in as your commander or in any +1/+1 counters deck with those colors, because it is very good. Plus the ability of having flying, vigilance, death touch, and lifelink is insane. So yeah, Atraxa is very good +1/+1 counters commander. So now we're moving on to Hepatra, Vizier of Poisons. So Hepatra is green and black for a 2/2 legendary creature, human cleric. And when Hepatra, Vizier of Poisons, deals combat damage to a player, they may put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. And then whenever you put one or more -1/-1 counters on a creature, create a 1/1 snake creature token with death touch. So it's a great -1/-1 counters commander, because whenever she deals combat damage to the player, so you're going to be wanting to attack, you're putting counters, and then you're creating snakes, and the snakes are going to stack up fast, and then you can put a -1/-1 counters on your snakes, and then you get another snake, so you don't lose anything, but you keep. It's very good. And Hepatra is a very great -1/-1 counters deck, and if there's anything that like doubles your tokens, that's insane, because you're just going to be doubling what you normally get, and it's just doubling stuff. It's just insane in Commander. So it's a great -1/-1 counter deck, so you should definitely put that as your -1/-1 counters commander. So now we're going to move on to instants and sorceries. So the best instants and sorceries commander is Mizzix of the Magnus. So it's 2 blue-red for a 2/2 legendary creature, Goblin Wizard. And whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell with converted mana cost greater than the number of experience counters you have, you get an experience counter. Instants and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each experience counter you have. So this is very good, because you're going to be, when you first get this out, you're not going to have that many experience counters on it. So you're going to be casting experience stuff that's greater than the number of experience counters. So you're going to get more experience counters. And then those things that would cost more mana to cast are now way cheaper, because you're going to have 4 or 5 experience counters on Mizzix. And that's insane in Commander, having something that can be 1 or 2 mana that does something that should be 4 or 5 mana is very good. And it's just a great instant sorcerer's commander, and it's the one of the ones with the set of experience counters, and I think they did a good job with this one. So yeah, that's the best instant sorcerer's commander. Now let's move on to self-mill. So you guys probably already know that the best self-mill commander is Muldrotha the Gravetide. So it's 3 black, green, blue for a 6/6 legendary creature, elemental avatar. And during each of your turns, you may play up to 1 permanent card of each permanent type from your graveyard. So that is just insane. So what you want to do is get everything into your graveyard, get a ton of stuff into your graveyard, and then you can cast a ton of stuff from your graveyard of each permanent type from your graveyard. That's insane. It's just like the best self-mill commander. It is super good, because just casting stuff from your graveyard is great, and casting multiple of it each turn is still really, really, really good. And that's why this made it to the best self-mill commander. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys learned something from me and from these commanders. And make sure to keep magic on your minds.